So, a man who arrived in the UK on a small boat has been sentenced to life in prison for a shocking knife attack in Derby. 47-year-old Habi Kadi Nur, a Somali national, admitted murdering 37-year-old Govinda Singh Johal, known by friends as Danny, inside a Lloyds Bank on St Peter Street on the 6th of May. Now, the attack came shortly after Nur expressed anger over the rejection of his asylum claim. Nur must serve a minimum of 25 years before being considered for release. It's just absolutely shocking. It's disgraceful. So what do you think? Should people arriving in the UK illegally, via a small boat and also by other illegal means, be detained until their asylum claims are fully processed? Well, let's find out what my panel think. I'll go with you, Bill Rammell. What are your thoughts?
I think the case is grotesque. You know, just because his asylum claim was turned down, he almost went on a grotesque process of threatening a killing spree, and he tragically did kill one individual. And there's also almost a sense of entitlement, you know. I demand to be allowed in, and it's unacceptable. Very welcomely, he's been sentenced to life imprisonment.
Why do you think he's got a sense of entitlement there, Bill?
I don't know.
Do you think it's perhaps because when they come here, they're given pretty much everything, so then there becomes...
No, I don't think that's the case, but I think for this individual, that's clearly what came across. But he needs to... the prison sentence needs to be enacted. He needs to be deported as quickly as possible. But I do think in cases such as this, when you've gone through the process, when you've had an asylum claim turned down, one, you need to be removed as quickly as possible, and two, pending that, I think there is a case for detention, and I would hope that the government would bring that forward. OK. Matt Goodwin.
Well, I mean, Bill, you can say this is a disgraceful case, but it's the Labour government, it's the Labour Party that has set the foundation for all of these horrific cases that we're seeing. It's not just this tragic murder in Derby, it's the murder of Rhiannon White in Walsall, who was stabbed in the head 20 times by an illegal migrant from Sudan, the events we've seen obviously in Uxbridge, the murder of Terence Carney in Hartlepool, the murder of Thomas Roberts in Bournemouth. This is what happens, Bill, when you run a policy of open borders and you allow terrorists, murderers, rapists into our country, knowing they include terrorists, murderers and rapists, and then you put them in the heart of our communities, next to families, next to schools. You don't detain them, you don't process them offshore, you don't deport them, although you can deport them when you actually really want to deport them, as we've discovered with the case of Haidish Kabatu. You've lost control of the borders, Bill. And I'm just going to say something, I've never said this before. Every murder that happens in this country by an illegal migrant, every rape that happens in this country by an illegal migrant, every sexual assault that happens in this country by an illegal migrant is on the Labour government.
Utter rubbish. You know we haven't got a policy of open borders, that we're clearing up the mess that we inherit.
What would you call 200,000 people?
Hold on. That we're clearing up the mess that we inherited. Deportations are up significantly. We've dramatically increased the processing of asylum claims. And I know the case that you're trying to make for incendiary purposes, Matt, if you look at the figures, and I think any murder...
I'm angry, Bill.
Hold on, and I'm angry.
Not enough to do something about it.
Yeah. Things are being done. Any murder, any killing is unacceptable. But the link you're trying to make, if you look at the figures, proportionately, foreign nationals commit less murders than British people.
Not true.
Those go online. True. Those are what the figures bear out.
Not true, Bill. And Freedom of information requests show this extreme policy that your party is imposing on us, and then you call us the extremists. This extreme policy you're imposing on this country, you are tearing this country apart. You are dividing our communities. And you are putting women and girls in this country, like Rhiannon White, at risk. And you need to admit that and do something about it.
The government is doing things about this, dramatically increasing the processing of claims, increasing deportations. You know, one of the things that's come out today, a 63% increase in raids on illegal working, and that's one of the biggest pull factors bringing asylum seekers to this country. Working with other countries countries to drive the numbers down. But I think in case
control the borders. I don't want deals with Vietnam. I don't want raids on illegal working practices.
You don't want to engage in the real world, Matt.
The borders closed and controlled.
And how do you do that, Matt?
Number one, leave the European Convention on Human Rights.
Which would make it more difficult to return foreign nationals to other countries.
There's a very clear template for controlling our borders, and you know it. You just don't want to go there because of your politics. You put universal human rights ahead of the British people. That's what the left has. That is your different view from everybody else. You prioritise people who are not from our country over our people. I reject that. It's not about public polling. It's not about that. You've asked me, how would I fix it?
So you always stand
as the how would I fix it? You asked me, how would I fix it?
And that wouldn't work.
You asked me, how would I control our borders?
And what you're
you can have the decency to listen to my answer. Leave the European Convention on Human Rights, which would allow us to deport illegal migrants and foreign criminals. Repeal Tony Blair's Human Rights Act, which entrenches the ECHR into domestic law. Detain and deport anybody who arrives at the border illegally. Process them offshore. Do not give £10 billion in welfare benefits to people who are not British. Do not put them in social housing. Keep that social housing for British people. Actually start putting the people of this country first, Bill. A year from now, if we did all of that, a year from now, you would have meaningful progress instead of every week we come on this show and you point at all this stuff that isn't making a difference. And the reason I'm getting more frustrated is another person has lost their life. Another person has lost their life. It's absolutely outrageous.
You have the decency to listen. You have the decency to listen. Take one element of that. Withdrawing from the ECHR would not only be wrong in principle, in my view, it would make it more difficult to remove people from the country because other countries, particularly European countries, would not cooperate with us. Now, you might fulminate against that, but that's the reality
of the
global situation that we work with. And
Bill,
unless we cooperate with other countries, we cannot tackle this problem.
Every lawyer uses Article 3 and Article 8 of the ECHR to block deportations, to support appeals. You know as well as I do.
Yes,
if we were like, I don't know, the United States of America, Donald Trump, not in the ECHR, deporting illegal migrants back to their country of origin, we should be doing that. I'm angry, Bill, because another guy has lost his life.
It's performative anger, Matt. That's what you're delivering. Performative anger.
How dare you?
You do it every time you come on the show. It's performative action, anger, to make a political point.
Bill,
and you should confront the reality of how practically you reduce the asylum numbers and you increase deportation.
If you think I am angry because I'm on television, you don't know me at all. Rhiannon White was stabbed in the head with a screwdriver 20 times by an illegal migrant from Sudan, a young mother. I haven't heard Keir Starmer say anything about Rhiannon White. Now, let's face facts. If let's say, take that case. If she happened to be from a minority community, he'd be all over it. Sadiq Khan would be all over it. Because what we have is a two-tier society.
You're playing with people's emotions and people's fears, and you're not practically engaging in how we practically tackle this problem of reduced numbers and increased deportations.
All right, well, listen. I'm telling you now, Bill, I'm angry. I'm apoplectic with rage at the way this government are behaving, and they're not doing anything in my book to stop this. You cannot have people coming to this country who you do not know they've come via illegal means, or they've come via dinghy or on a lorry or whatever, and then put them in the communities and allow them to roam free.
So
it doesn't make sense.
Nana, you would leave the Refugee Convention?
If it meant that I could detain people, I don't think I even need to do that, because we are actually different to other countries. We are allowed to detain people for a longer period of time. So it's fine. I'd have them detained. I wouldn't allow them to roam the streets. That's the end of it.
You're entitled to that view. It's not my view. We should remain members of the Refugee Convention, but we need to dramatically change the way that the processing takes place.
We could probably still detain people and be a member of it, Bill. And
I agree with you. Once you've exhausted your asylum application, I think you should be detained.
They should be detained as soon as they arrive and then deported.